just to keep from calling you Lord. I'm too young to just hang around, too proud to be your fool. You said no thank you when I tried to get
All right, we are live. Awesome. Welcome everyone to another segment of the Fishing Channel's Regional Fishing Report. I am super excited for our guest tonight. We have Captain C. Marshall from the Eastern Shore of Virginia. Hi, Captain.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, just rolling through another day, doing what we do.
Well, you do a lot. I was watching some of your videos and I seen you with some amazing cobia.
Yeah.
Some amazing reds.
Yeah.
And I saw you with some bluefish as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, the bluefish have been a savior here lately. In the area that I'm fishing, the Pocomoke and Tangier Sound area. I don't know where the specs from the past few years have gone. We had good numbers. I was looking forward to a year where we'd be able to catch 10 or 20 a day, but that just hadn't really happened. We haven't had a day where we've had that's not true. We haven't had many days that we have achieved a limit of speckled trout. I was really hoping that this year was going to be the hammer year for them. Now, that said, we've caught some big ones, and the big ones have been caught all through the Pocomoke and Tangier Sound area, but yeah, it's not been that real consistent fishery that we hope we all would enjoy.
What do you think's going on?
Don't know. There's a lot of different schools of thought on it. I think a lot of it has to do with the food sources that are available. It's just a tremendous number of cow nose rays and southern stingrays and clear nose skates, and we're seeing them from Cape Charles all the way up all the way up off Solomon's Island and probably farther than that. I don't have a lot of contact with people north of there, north of the Bay Bridge much, but it's just an absolute, pardon the expression, but a shitload of them down here. I mean, it makes fishing somewhat difficult for those people that are bait fishing, even casting artificials. We're snagging them into wings and into back and stuff. And just the sheer number of rays that are here have got to be decimating the crab population.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd like to think that the speckled trout and the rockfish that are out there, are not finding the crabs, which is a predominant food source in the bay. They're not finding them because the rays are eating them first. I know when we're bait fishing, particularly for reds or for speckled trout even, and even rockfish, if the bait gets in the water and the rockfish gets to it first, that's great. But most time that's not the case. The rays are just so prevalent, it makes fishing difficult.
Yeah, I can understand that. Matt and I were out a couple of weeks ago, and we were completely surrounded by rays wherever we went in the bay that day.
I was on a Zoom meeting last night concerning was it last night? I think it was last night. I don't know. They all run together for me, but I think it was last night. We were on a Zoom meeting concerning the upcoming striped bass regulations and what the Maryland Lake Tackle Guides could do to kind of have a little influence over that, because it's a lot of people, man. The striped bass is so many different user groups out there, and you're not going to please all of them. But in that conversation, while we were in it, there was a alert came across Captain C. Mason's phone of a gentleman in Summers Cove Marina who had been struck with a stingray barb or a ray barb. And for those of you that have not experienced that, I hope you never do. It's just a god awful pain. And if you do, just a couple things to keep in mind. Dish soap helps, and warm water helps, and nothing else but time and heavy narcotics. But it's not a pain that I wish on my worst enemy, and I hope that doesn't happen to anybody. Just be safe. There's no need to bring those things in the boat. It's absolutely no need for it. Handle them at boat side. The hook is not worth the pain that thing's going to endure. That you're going to have to endure if you get stuck with the barb. It's just not worth it. Pop. I use 40-pound leader material, and if we've caught a couple of them, I'll just pop them off and go. It's just not worth the time, the effort, or the danger for bringing them in the boat. So that'd be my advice concerning the ray situation. Don't mess with them. You don't have to do it. Don't mess with them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. We have some viewers logging on. I just wanted to let everybody know Captain CL Marshall from Virginia, Tangier Sound Charters. So check him out on Facebook. We will leave a link in the comments. Feel free to ask any questions. Captain CL Marshall is a wealth of experience and information. So we're going to pick your brain a little bit tonight for tonight's regional Virginia report.
You had mentioned the bluefish, and
Yes.
speckled trait bite, as we're talking about, has been, like I said, somewhat sporadic in the areas that I go. And we found good numbers of bluefish around offshore structure, and that's been really a lot of fun. In the past, a lot of people look down on the table value for these bluefish, but man, look, bent rods make people happy, and catching those bluefish is fun. We're able to we made one of my favorite things to bring on the boat. It's a smoked bluefish dip. I can whip one of them up pretty quick, and it's always nice to have some of that on hand as people are catching them. That's what you can do with it. And fresh table fare, they're mighty fine. I wouldn't recommend freezing them, that's for sure. And the carcasses make great crab bait, so it's a win-win. We've been catching them on. There we go. What we caught them on this morning, rattle traps. So that was eat up pretty good. Rattle traps, any type of soft plastic. Chew up the soft plastics so much, and they're very aggressive feeders. But once we get in them, we'll switch to these hard plastics, little bomber, wind cheater, stuff like that, just below the surface, and it works pretty well on any offshore structure. Around the Mariner, around any of the wrecks, rock piles, whatever. I think you can find them if you look.
What kind of techniques do you use?
Well, for those, it's primarily just a steady retrieve, and sometimes it varies. Sometimes they like a little on the fast side. Other times it's a sinking bite. But traditionally for the blues, it's a little bit faster retrieve. Unfortunately, that kind of keeps it out of the wheelhouse for some of the specs that might be around. But you can have it all.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
So.
And that topwater bite too. Hey, look, if you're in some bluefish, and you've got one of those atomic chuggers or a hula pop or anything on top that makes a little bit of noise, man, it's nothing like a great topwater bite. Absolutely, those bluefish and even rockfish are in the area. They're very receptive to that on overcast, rainy, a little bit overcast. They love it during those type of days. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, I look forward to catching my first.
Come on down, we'll go.
Yes. So Reds, you have an amazing video.
Oh yeah, that was the other day. You can roll it. It was I had a BW James on the boat with me. BW is a captain for Viking, and he moves boats up and down the coast. Captain is a right damn good fisherman, and I always enjoy sharing time with Captain BW James. That's for sure. He runs a boat called the James Gang.
There you go.
Watch it, Craig. Can you hear me?
What you doing, Babel? What you got, Babel?
We're catching a red one, buddy.
Where's he at?
Right here.
Hey, bring him back here to me, will you?
As Greg Hart would say, he's right here. God, that's pretty. Look at that. If you don't like that, you don't like fishing. Let's get a little video. Nicole's also
I think he enjoyed catching that fish. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I love that video.
Yeah, he, like I said, he's caught many of them, and we were cobia fishing that day, and we'd already had our limited cobia, and we were just hanging out to see what else was going to happen. And we ran on a pile of those, right on a channel edge in 19 feet of water. It's nothing spectacular, no super stealthy techniques, just standard cobia fishing, and a pot of red drum came by, and we took full advantage of it. Right now, still a few in the shallows. There's still a few in the shallows to be had. But once again, you've got to have the patience and the wherewithal to put up with all the rays to get through them. The guys are doing well in grassy flats, north of Tangier on the island complexes there. But I think the challenge bite is going to be a little bit earlier this year. Normally we're looking at that in mid-August, somewhere around there, 15th or so, to for those fish to transition to channel edges and the like. And I think this year it's going to be a little bit earlier. So I think that might be tomorrow's exploration. We'll see.
All right. That's an important piece of information. Anyone to look catching these beasts. Now, the audience couldn't hear us during the video, but how big was that fish?
That fish was 48 inches, a little over 48. It was a nice fish. But, you know, just if you could have listened, if you ever hear the audio feed of it, how delighted he was to catch it. And that's the cool part of why we do this stuff, you know. He's caught many of them, but each one's different. Each one's special. Yes. Like BW said, if you know, if you don't like doing this, God help you.
Yeah, that's true. I caught a couple of bull reds out with the charter captain Nathan, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah,
there's something like pulling the fight, the excitement of it, and they are beautiful fish. They have very unique. I call them tattoos. They have very unique tattoos of all kinds, and they're very beautiful beasts. And we definitely handle them with respect when we do our catch and release.
Yeah, that fish, he never came out of the water. You know, and I can't berate people that want to pick them up and take a picture. I've done it many times. I'll do it again. You know, but if at all possible, you know, somebody who's caught a few before, you know, keep that fish in the water, release them safely. Yeah. The fish are meant to be in the water. You know, I get wanting to take a picture of it. I understand it. I use it as part of my marketing scheme. You know, it's just how it is. But you know, if possible at all, you know, leave that fish in the water. You don't need to net him all the time. You know, a lot of times if you play him out as we did, that fish, we played him and looked at him and watched him and appreciated him and celebrated him at boat side. And we were able to pop that hook out, you know, circle hook, corner to mouth, he gone. It's kind of special. Definitely.
So cobia.
Yeah.
A fish I haven't caught yet either. Looking forward to that.
Those guys to the south of me are doing pretty well. Those guys fishing from buoy 40-ish and on down. They're doing a lot better than I am. I did well in the middle of June and all right when the season came out on the 15th, and we hit them pretty good. You know, bottom fishing for them. That seems to be the most consistent effort, just consistent way to catch them. You know, there's a lot of guys who do real well casting for them with live eels and the like, and that's a load of fun too. But you know, for consistent results, you know, I don't think anything's going to beat, you know, a channel edge in, you know, 19 feet of water with cut bunker on the bottom and a bag of chum over the side. That seems to be this year the most productive way to catch them. Guys in Cape Charles are doing real well with them. You know, right along the edge of intermittent grinds, 9-foot shoal, you know, some of the rocks and stuff at Cabbage Patch in those areas are doing well. They're doing real well. The sight casting thing, it's good. It's good. You know, sometimes the fish are very eager to do that, but it's been a lot of pressure on those fish in the lower part of the bay. It's seems like everybody and their brother's got a tower boat or a boat with a ladder or a boat with some scaffolding on it or some kind of stuff, and they're putting a lot of pressure on those fish that are up top. You know, I think we'll see some more fish. There have been some caught off Tangier. I caught one just off Fox's Island on I think it was Sunday. Caught one on Sunday in shallow water. You know, we're fishing 4 feet of water, and I didn't see that coming. But we had a nice little 30-inch fish there, and that was a lot of fun. You know, a lot of fun.
Were you using anything else other than eel and chum? Obviously in shallow water. What were you using in shallow water?
He ate a soft crab.
Soft crab. Okay.
He ate a soft crab. Yep.
Nice.
That's what we were doing. We were you know, just doing some catch and release fishing in there, and yeah, we stumbled upon Mr. Cobia, which was good. We didn't find any reds that day. We did find a few specks and you know, the obligatory rockfish that were there, but we were in Virginia, so they weren't on the menu.
Awesome. How about the season? So, you know, we have a lot of people who tune in who are fishermen and experienced, but we also have a lot of people who are not. So what would you suggest about cobia going about them, the time of season, things like that on basic?
Now, I go now. You know, go whenever you can. My God, if you have the opportunity to go fishing, go. But you know, right now, it's prime time now through August. It's going to be good. If you have the opportunity, the further south you go, the better you're going to do. There are some guys, Larry Tolles and Harry Neal, and those guys, they do pretty well up as it is down below.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you get the chance to go, and don't be scared to fish in the middle of the day.
Okay, that's all.
Those fish, like, they're not scared of the direct sunlight. Actually, that brings them up so you can see them a little bit better. Yeah. So when the sun's overhead, go cobia fishing. It's worth the trip.
All right. Well, I'll have to convince Grant to take me.
Yeah. Come on, Grant.
Yes. So cobia, bluefish, and big reds. What other fish have you seen?
Well, the other day, it was a week ago, I had something happen that was really atypical over the past few years. I had 3 gray trout on successive casts. Weak fish, I had 3 of those. They were 2 to 3 pound fish, and I hadn't seen one of those of that size this time of the year in quite some time. It's been a decade or so since I've seen that happen. But yeah, I had those weak fish, and talking with some of the crabbers and netters around. They're seeing a few show up in their crab pots and the like, so hopefully that's a good sign. In the fall, we generally, over the shallow water rock piles and the like, bounce and grubs or gulps along the bottom there with lead-headed jigs, that'll produce some of those small little corncob fish, which is always fun to do, and it's a throwback to tradition and growing up and all that type of thing. Mm-hmm. But the limit's 1, and but it was nice to see those fish show up. It made me kind of feel good.
Right.
So that was, yep.
Oh, we had a question. No, we don't have a question. Okay. So Grant has posted where you can book a trip with Captain Marshall. Now, I said I was watching some of your videos. It looks like everyone who goes out with you has an amazing time. They get some really great fish. Hopefully we can get on that list.
Yeah, it's the fish are cool. I love to catch the fish, mm-hmm. and we've been fortunate to be consistent in catching some fish. But it's fishing, and there are some days we don't catch a fish. But well, let's talk about Sunday's trip. Sunday, it was nasty and it was blowing, and we caught a sheep's head. We worked really hard to catch a sheep's head. And this is funny. So I had this guy in the boat. He asked if he could bring his fins and his mask and his spear gun. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. If you're comfortable with it, then by all means. So as the day grew on and our relationship kind of warmed up a little bit, I said, have you had much experience with that? He goes, yeah, right much. I said, well, where'd you get your experience from? He goes, well, I was a water survival instructor for the Navy SEALs. And I'm like, dude, have at it. Have at it. He's diving around the Davidson. He jumped out of the boat around the Davidson. He's swimming all around. He's shooting fish. It was crazy, But the guy was more comfortable in the water than he was in the boat. That's for sure.
Wow.
But you never know who you're going to meet, man. That's part of the fun too. But on that day, we rolled up into it was nasty, and we rolled into Tangier and went to see Tommy Etheridge at Four Brothers, and went to Lorraine's and had some amazing crab soup. If you've not had Lorraine's crab soup on Tangier Island, you haven't lived a full life. Let me tell you, it's absolutely delicious. So we did that, and then we went back fishing again, caught that cobia and a handful of rock and some other assorted bottom dwellers, and it was a great time. It's just a fishing trip. We had a ball. Why can't it be fun? We're going fishing. We're looking to have fun. It's not got to be work every day. Well, maybe for me, but it doesn't have to be that high pressure situation that a lot of people put themselves in.
Well, one thing I like about, in my experience, going out on charters, or even just with anybody, you meet different people. You meet Navy SEALs.
Yeah, the guy was pretty badass.
You hear some amazing stories. There's camaraderie. I really do enjoy that about going on the water. Besides, obviously, enjoying nature as well. But I'm sure you have some amazing stories to tell. But I want you mentioned sheep's head, though. I want to go back to that really quick, because I caught a citation sheep's head one time. Unfortunately, I didn't have a cooler or anything with me, so I gave it to the captain. And I heard they're amazing to eat. But can you tell us, what's the technique for catching a sheep's head? And if you can give any advice to our viewers who are interested in going after them.
Yeah, get a trolling motor. Absolutely. I just have one. I had Sandpiper Marine installed. I bought it from Seahawk Sports Center, a Minn Kota Terranova. I'm looking at it now. and I had Sandpiper Marine install it for me. And that's why I bought it specifically for sheepshead. Because if you think about it, the options that we have as bay fishermen right now, we got reds and blacks, and there's a few specks, and there's rockfish, and a few other things, but not many. Our options have become somewhat limited. Over the past few years in the Tangier Sound Classic, we find that we can catch some sheepshead, and by having the trolling motor, it enables us to spot lock over top of some deep water structure, and the fishing is simple as it gets. I use a leader with a very small dropper loop on it, and the hooks are right in those dropper loops, as tight to the main line as possible to prevent snags in the wrecks. We also use trolling sinkers, the oblong ones. I got one back there, but the oblong trolling sinkers versus a bank sinker or a round sinker, because they tend to get hung up less. I don't know why, it just does. But so the hooks aren't coming off the main line, only a couple inches. They're very very tight to the leader. We're using crab. I like to use whole crabs for sheepshead. If I get the smallest peeler I can get is what I'm going to use for them. The trick is to set the hook just before they bite. No, they're very light bites, and it's the more vertical you can get over top the structure, the better you're going to be, the better results you're going to have. And the good news is, as this August wanes on, there's going to be rockfish and puppy drum, hanging around that same structure as well. So, the last time we went, we caught just a ton of togs, in the bay. Yeah, so that was kind of neat.
Yes.
The little sea bass, the little black willies will be showing up, but that's fine. I use a bigger bait to kind of discourage them from doing it. But yeah, it's vertical fishing, as vertical as you can get over top the structure. If you're not losing rigs, you're not where the fish are going to be. So it's a little frustrating at times. Sometimes you can lose 3 or 4 rigs in a hurry, but hey, it's all right. You don't have a whole lot in them. Don't get upset. Just tie another one on and go. But vertical fishing, I use here's a hook right here. I use either a 4 or 5. You can't see that. A 4 or 5 alt. I use a 4 or 5 alt eagle claw. Offset a little bit. I don't use a circle hook for them. I use a J hook for them, and it works out pretty well. Nice fight, and you shouldn't have gave that fish to the captain, because they are delicious.
I'd love to taste. There's a lot I have on my bucket list, and having a bite of sheepshead is one of them.
Yep.
So one thing I want to ask you, coming back to your charter business, how far are you out now with scheduling, just for our viewers?
Well, I usually run 3 a week, 4 a week, something like that. The maintenance side on the it's all, everybody looks at the fishing aspect of it. Everybody sees, the fish and the post and the crab soup and all that. And all that's fine, but just to keep the boat in the shape that I want it in, and the tackle and everything, I run about 3 to 4 a week right now, and I have availabilities starting in mid-August sporadically. But the way things are now, people cancel every day, and but there's always, I'm fortunate that there's been people to fill up that void right behind them. So that's been nice. I predominantly like to do afternoon trips. But I'm not scared to do a morning trip at all. My trips are 6 hours, and that's plenty of time. I've had an all-day trip it's just brutal on everybody. People want to do the 8-10 hour thing, and at the end of the day, the last 3 or 4 hours, nobody's having fun anymore. So that's not why we do this. We want people to have fun. We want people to be, to go have a beer or something when it's over. I like to go to Sax's a lot. Right there at a Capt Hurricane Grill, we sail out of there quite a bit. That works well for everybody, especially when we come in. And at a Chris Field, there's Fisherman's Grill right there, and we want to certainly support the local marina restaurants as best we can.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So let's see. Do we have any questions? Oh, we do not have any questions right now.
We must be very thorough today.
We are. So I would like to talk about one more thing, because we're getting close to closing time, unless there's something additional you want to share that we haven't talked about yet, Captain.
The rockfish closure is coming up. We all need to be aware of that in the free state of Maryland. No, I'm not opposed to it. Yeah, will it hurt my business a little bit? Will it hurt all the light tackle guys' business a little bit? Yeah, I think it will. But I think we need to take a hard look at where we are in the rockfish right now, and I think there's some hard decisions in front of us.
Definitely, yeah. So we definitely want to support our local government as far as regulations. So if you ever go out and you attempt to go fishing, make sure you check the regulations for your state. We talk about catch and release a lot on the show, respecting the fish, but also, like you said, people have a choice.
Yep.
The catch and release, we do support that for sure. And
I will never begrudge anybody who wants to keep a fish, because my Lord, I love to eat them. I really do. I've got I think I got speckled trout for dinner tonight. I'm looking forward to that. But the fact of the matter is, people want to eat fish. That's fine.
Yeah.
But let's not take it to the extreme. Let's take what we're going to eat. I see these pictures of people with piles and piles of fish around them. And I've done it. We've all done it, I suppose. But my thought is, what are you going to do with all them fish? You're going to put them in the freezer, and then a year from now, you're going to go, what the hell is this? It's going to be thrown out, freezer burnt, and that's a waste of the resource. So, I think, I'm real happy that most folks these days, especially lately, are more cognizant of catch and release and more cognizant of the resource and the part they play in in it. So, hey, if you want to keep fish, fine. If you want to release them, fine. It's all, it's your fish, man. You can do what you want with it.
Yes. Well, we're fortunate to have the resource. And like Captain says, we just want to respect it and enjoy it. So definitely connect with Captain CL Marshall for a great time. We thank you so much for your time, Captain. And we look forward to having you on the show again really soon and maybe going fishing together.
Yeah, whenever you guys want to go, man, just ring me up. We'll make a fun day out of it. That's for sure. Yeah, we'll be out there tomorrow morning, and that's tomorrow is Thursday. So we'll be at Thursday. We'll be at Saturday. We'll be at Sunday. So we'll be out and around in the old green makeup. We'll be beating around somewhere. So give me a ring. Call me on channel 69 if we can. I'll share what I got with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and thank you to our audience. We look forward to seeing you in our next segment of the Regional Fishing Report, which will start here in a few minutes. So have a great night, Captain. Have a great night, everybody, and fish on.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Bye-bye.
Young, just hang around. Too proud to be your fool.